Thank you for staying with us. Now, when many of us think back to our own teenage years, days were filled with school, friends, and maybe the odd football game or two. But for our next guest, the responsibilities of daily life are much greater.
17-year-old Sean Collins may be a normal teenager, but he also is one of the 67,000 young people providing regular unpaid care for their loved ones, a duty which he says he does out of pure love. And he joins us on the line now alongside Catherine Cox from Family Carers Ireland. Good morning to you both.
Good morning,
Thank
guys.
you for taking the time to chat to us.
Thanks for having us.
Sean, can we come to you first? Maybe you'll give us a sense of who's at home, what's happening, and your role in the household.
Yeah, so there's four in my house: my mum, my dad, my sister Catherine, and myself. So mum has secondary stage 4 breast cancer. So she's getting chemotherapy at the moment and is receiving a lot of treatment. And my sister Catherine has a rare chromosomal disability called SAPB2, and she has very little speech and needs 24/7 care. She needs help with feeding herself, washing herself, every sort of day-to-day activity. So at the moment, Catherine is in residential care just because she was becoming a lot to handle at home. But we still get to see her fairly regularly, thank God.
So your dad, clearly, and your whole family with your dad, you've got a lot on your plates, and you'd give your dad a dig out. You help your dad with because your dad's obviously dealing with what's happening with your mum at the moment. And then when Catherine, before she went into residential care at home, in terms of a daily routine, how did you help your dad out?
Yeah, so kind of incredibly routine based. So in many senses, I spent my day trying to make sure the routine was kept and followed best as possible. So it would be things like, as mum got slower and sicker with the cancer, it would be helping Catherine more, as Catherine's a big, strong, tall girl and can get very physical. She can get very overwhelmed or excited, and that she tends to lash out when she is like that. So I kind of help with Catherine when she does become more physical, just because simply mum can't really deal with her when she is that strong, as mum is getting slower, unfortunately.
And of course, you can see the signs when your sister Catherine is going to have maybe an episode. You're well able to manage her, but you do need to be there to do that.
Oh yeah, definitely. Catherine, she's about 6 foot. She's a big, strong girl. But no, I can definitely tell the signs, and it's just trying to keep her so she doesn't blow up, or when she does blow up, that it's kept to kind of as low as possible. Just because she can become very overwhelmed. She very easily picks up on things such as if someone's angry or upset or there's loud noises. So it's just trying to keep these to a minimum.
Catherine, we might bring you in here at this stage. You work for Family Carers Ireland, and listen to Sean's story there. I mean, it's safe to say, it is safe to say that these guys, these kids, and there are a lot of them out there in the country, these are the unsung heroes in terms of the shift they're putting in to help their families out, isn't it?
Absolutely. And there's so many young carers, a lot of young carers caring for maybe brothers or sisters like Sean. Not too many probably having that, I suppose, additional care that Sean would provide also for his mum. But what's so important is that these young carers, as you said, are recognised, but more importantly, supported in their roles. And that goes for all family carers across the country, because we do know, I suppose, the lack of services and supports means that many of these young people and carers quite often have to do it alone. And, we would always say no one should have to care alone. There are supports there, but we need to get them into the home and into the family so that these young people and all carers can feel they are supported and can continue to care safely in their own homes for their loved ones, which is what they want to do.
And they're so wonderful for doing it in the first place, Catherine. So is it 67,000 young people between the ages of 10 and 17 are in a similar position to Sean? What kind of supports are there for Sean?
So you're right with that figure, 67,000. What's really important is the supports are there in the school and in the education system. Family Carers Ireland, we have just one young carer support manager, Pádraig, who is wonderful, but there's only one in the country to support young carers. So I suppose that gives you a sense of the lack of supports maybe, but supports in the schools, such as a toolkit for teachers to help them recognise when there are young carers in their classroom. Because what we don't want to see is young people like Sean disadvantaged, where they may not be able to be involved in activities outside of school or where their education might suffer. So it's really important that teachers know there are young carers in their classroom, and there are young carers in every classroom.
And in
so
terms
that they
of,
can
in terms
recognise
of, sorry, Catherine, in terms of COVID, then, you know, your organisation is calling for these kids to get vaccinated and get bumped up the priority list, because they are, as you say, providing a necessary service for their families.
Yeah, look, for COVID-19, the one thing I'd say, it's not even about getting people bumped up the list. Family carers have not been named at all in the priority list for vaccinations. We believe it is so important that the family carer is vaccinated, because who will care for their loved one if the carer themselves gets COVID-19? And for lots of carers out there, they're caring for young people under 16, so their loved one won't get vaccinated. So the danger to their loved one's health as well, if the carer should get COVID and pass it on. So it is vital that family carers get vaccinated, but get included on the vaccination list. And we would say that should be under Category 6, which is key workers who are essential for the rollout of the vaccination.
Absolutely. And Sean, you're in the midst of doing your Leaving Cert this year on top of everything else. How do you feel about the vaccination list?
Yeah, I do think that young carers do need to get vaccinations, because I know myself there is kind of a sense of anxiety that I would bring COVID home, and if I bring COVID home and Mum were to get it, she wouldn't be able to get her chemotherapy. So it's very important I don't bring it home. And I know myself, I have a sense of anxiety just now that I am back to school, that if I would bring something home, it would have disastrous effects, especially with Mum's weakened immune system. So I do think it is incredibly important that we young carers do get looked at for vaccines.
Well, listen, there's no doubt about it that, you know, your dad, Donald, and Mum Annette, they're very proud of you. You're doing an incredible job, as are the 67,000 other kids who are in your situation, Sean. Before we go, we have a little something small for you, Sean. Elveries were inspired by your story, and they wanted to give something back to you. They know you're a huge rugby fan, so they have very kindly gifted this signed rugby jersey. You'd be delighted to know it's not signed by me and Anna, it's signed by the Irish rugby team. And they're also going to give you 2 tickets to see the boys in green in the flesh when the stadiums open up again. So that's from Elveries. They're very proud of you. They think you're doing a great job, as do the Irish rugby team, Sean. So you'll be able to see the lads playing next time it's safe to do so. Listen, we appreciate your story. You're a hero. You're a hero.
You really are, Sean. Take care of yourself. Remember to look after yourself in the midst of all of this, won't you?
Yeah, thank you very much.
A pleasure. And thanks for joining us, Catherine.
Thanks, Catherine.
Lovely to talk to you. Take care, guys.
Bye, Sean. Thank you.